Let's look at adding a photovoltaic array to the top of our visitor center. So I have just a screenshot of the kind of array we're looking at. Thin panel um, attached to the surface of the roof, and we have a flat roof in this case. So let's start by figuring out what kind of panel we might want to use. So I've gone ahead and found a distributor just through the internet. You might find you're welcome to look for other sources, but this company makes all kinds of solar panels or distributes them, and they're a wholesaler. We couldn't buy them, but an installer could. And we're just going to use this as a reference just to help us do layout. And I'm a cheapskate. I'm going to pick the one that has the most amount of power for the least amount of dollars. And I'll click on it so we can look at the specs of it. It gives us the dimensions, the weight, really everything we need here. But they also have a spec sheet that we could download and take a look at. And you can see key features. It's 17, almost 17.5% efficient, which means that it captures of the 100% daylight that hits it, 17.5% can be converted to electrical energy. It has a guarantee of power output for 25 years and a warranty of 10 years, so it'll be hopefully around for a while. So we have our dimensions in that. So let's go ahead now and make up a mock-up that we can use on our project. And in this case, this panel is 77 inches, 77.2, so I'll use 78 by 40 by 1.6 inches. So I'm going to go out to Revit, and I'll close a couple of these windows off here so I don't get too busy with it. And our roof that we made is, I believe, I'm going to go back to edit the type, but I believe it is 24 inches thick. So we've got to accommodate for that when we look at creating a roof-mounted panel for this roof assembly. So I'll just cancel out of that. And first thing we'll do then is make a generic component that we'll rename a panel. So I'm going to open up a new family. And instead of a generic panel that is just with nothing, no references, we're going to use the one that's roof-based. And I'll go ahead and open that. First thing I'll do is I'll save it so we have some idea what its name will be when we place it in. I've already started one, so I'm just going to click and rename over that one. It's called Panel Flat, and yes, I'll write over the existing file. And we'll go ahead and we'll make an extrusion. We're in the reference level of the top of the panel, so we'll make the overall shape of the panel. I'll just go in and edit these. So we wanted this to be 78 inches by 40 inches. Oops, and I always do that. Oops, and I always do that. 40 inches. And let's just center it on the grid, on the reference plane. So I'll just grab it and move it over. And I don't know why I'm not getting the other reference. Let's try that again. There it is. Okay, so if we click off of this, we'll extrude it a foot thick, but we don't really want it to be that thick. We want it to be 1.6 inches thick. And I've got too many inch markers here. And we'll apply that. We'll click out of that. And we'll go to the front elevation just to see where it's at. And I'll zoom extent ZE. And the panel is based at the bottom of the roof. But let's go ahead and fix this roof right away. I'm going to edit its type so that it's 2 feet thick. So I'm going to change this to 24 inches. So it's a better representation of the roof that we're using. And I'll go in now and grab our panel, and I'll copy it up. Probably have to take the constraint off of this. And I'll move that up so it's sitting right at the surface. Actually, what I'll probably do is, let's do that right away. We can't actually put that on the surface because there's got to be mounting clips and there's too much going on there. So let's just move this up let's say 2 inches above the roof surface. And then I'll get in here and delete this other one that I've created. Okay, so now let's give it a texture so that it reads right in a graphic or a visualization of it. And what I've done is I went out to our site again and I grabbed a texture. I did a search of solar panels, texture seamless, and I grabbed one that had no, external like tabs on it like this, but it's got a watermark, but that's fine. And I save that, and we'll go back to Revit now, and I'm just going to put a surface of this, a surface texture on that, but I want the sides to still be white. I don't want to map it all around it. So one of the things I could do just as a quick hack is I'll just copy this one up, and then I'll come in here and I'll pull this original panel down away from that just a little bit, or as little as it'll let me. And then I'll grab the top one and pull it down until it touches that surface. Now I have a surface that I can apply a texture to. And we can look at this in a 3D view. So that's the reference roof that we're going to use. And I'll grab that panel and we'll build a texture for it. So I'll go to our textures and create a new material. And rename that material PV texture, and we'll grab the appearance palette and we'll go out and search for that texture that I downloaded, and we'll probably, well, let's just check its size. It's 1 foot by 1 foot for that amount. That's probably fine. So we'll just go ahead and apply that. Click OK. Let's see if that'll render inside of the, yeah, that looks a little bit tiny. It's not going to read very nicely. So I'm going to make an adjustment to that texture. So I'm going to go to Manage, Materials, and grab that appearance again. And we want to make that bigger. So instead of that being 1 foot, let's just make this, let's say something like 4 inches. I went in the wrong direction. I wanted it to be bigger. Sorry. Let's try 24 inches. Oops, that was fine. Oops. Okay, that seems to read pretty well. And let's go ahead now and see if we can place that on our roof of our project. So we'll go to Load into Project. And I've already placed this one in before, so I'm overwriting an existing, but this would be a first time for you. And we can go to actually work on this in the 3D view. And I'll go ahead and place a component just to get an idea. And it's a it should reference right to the top of the roof. And now we've just got to get in the next clip we'll work at starting to lay these out, and we'll look a little bit at how we're going to do some calculations with this.